Hello, always Dizzy here. And yeah, I'm back with a recap from round four from the 2024 BC Open. As a recap, I lost the first game, won my second round, won the third round. And so, yeah, I was feeling a lot better having made up for the first round loss. And yeah, round four, I was paired up against I just realized for the millionth time, I wrote this guy's name wrong. I'm going to fix that live because I don't want to start this video over again. And it's funny because I was actually going to talk about this. I keep getting my opponent's name wrong. I keep thinking that Marionito is his last name and Jose is his first name, but it's the other way around. I can't tell you how many times I've made this mistake. So it should be. Oh, wait. No, I did do it right. But did I? I put a comma in there. Right. Yeah. So there's no comma. Okay. So, okay. Yeah. But that's. So Marionito is his first name. Jose is his last name. And yeah. Because I remember like looking up his rating and I'm like, this guy doesn't exist. Because I kept putting Jose as his first name. Yeah, I think he's Filipino. A bit of a older gentleman. At his peak, I believe he was 1892. So my voice sounds weird here. Yeah, I think he was 1892 peak. So he's dropped a bit since then. But then again, everybody has dropped because of all the kids these days. I did prepare for him the time that I had between the third round, like after the third round, because it's the fourth round, so it's the second round of the day. Yeah, and then what I found is that he played. Oh, by the way, this is upside down. I'm making lots of mistakes today because I was black. So I found that he very regularly plays the Grand Prix against a Sicilian. And the Grand Prix, I've said this before, but it's one of the most dangerous, sharpest lines that my repertoire faces. I won't say the other one. I don't want to give people ideas, but future opponents ideas. But it's a very, very, very aggressive, very sharp opening. One misstep from black and white can just like win the game just like that. And so he didn't play anything that was like new to me, but the time that I had, I just reviewed the lines that I have in my repertoire just to make sure I remember things. Even then I wasn't 100% sure just because the move orders and stuff are kind of tricky. So just reading my notes here. I think I played Marionito once or twice during the pandemic in an online tournament. I was at that point, like around 2020. I can't believe that's like 4 years ago already. That's ridiculous. But around that time, I was very hard up for more tournament play. So I actually played in a few online tournaments, but never again. I would never play those again for a certain reason. Just reading my notes here. I think I kind of said everything. Oh yeah, and then he also showed up. Okay, so the round started, and he wasn't there. So I got up and started walking around a bit. A few minutes passed, and he still wasn't there. This is not unusual. It's kind of funny because I always go through a round of emotions when this happens. Honestly, the first emotion when my opponent is not there and I start the clock is like, oh, cool. Like maybe I'll get maybe he'll show up like halfway through, like 45 minutes in, and I'm going to have a huge time advantage. Or maybe he won't show up at all and I'll just get an automatic win. Yeah. Or maybe he'll show up 20 minutes late and I get that time advantage. I'm always thinking that kind of shameful, greedy thoughts. But then that quickly gets overshadowed by, well, that's, I'm not earning the win. So then I want my opponent to show up because I want to earn the win, right? So that's usually the stages I go through. Fortunately, he only showed up a little bit late. He was just 5 minutes late. Time control is 90 plus 30. So it didn't really make any difference. Anyways, he sat down. He thought for a little bit. Like, he didn't immediately play his move. And again, as I say, looking at his games, I was pretty confident he's going to play the Grand Prix because, oftentimes I can't really predict what my opponent will play because they play a wide spectrum of moves, of openings. But yeah, I was really confident he was going to play the Grand Prix, but he actually opened with D4. So yeah, that surprised me. But yeah, not the first time that I've prepped for opponent and they played something completely different. So I played knight f6. Yeah, and I don't even think from his games, I don't think I saw a single d4 game from him. Yeah, so I had nothing prepared for him against d4. And then, yeah, he thought for a bit, and then he plays bishop g5, the Trompowski. And yeah, so after I came back from the tournament, I checked my tournament database, and I had actually only faced a Trompowski once before in a tournament. And here I played h6. Now, the funny thing is, I don't play h6 against the Trompowski. So I think he probably him surprising me by not playing the Grand Prix maybe rattled my mind. But yeah, I don't play h6 against the Trompowski. So somehow I misremembered my theory on move 2. Not a good sign. Yeah, it's kind of funny. The reason I played it is, well, first of all, I kind of thought that is what I play. Secondly, I seem to recall there being, against the Trompowski, there being situations where often there will be doubled pawns on the F file and pawn on h6, and you can even play a pawn on g6, a really weird pawn structure. And yeah, so I just kind of thought that was going to happen, that he could take on f6, and if he doesn't take on f6, well, I'm not sure what I was going to do, but I don't know. In any case, I thought that h6 was what I played, but it's not. So he did take on f6, and I recaptured with the e-pawn. And he plays e4. And here I was already pretty uncomfortable. First of all, I kind of wondered, wait, did I... because I don't remember having this position before. I don't think I've ever had this position before in my life. Because I don't play h6, for one thing. And then so I was like, whoa, he's got the two central pawns. I've got double pawns. I do have the bishop pair, but yeah, this was awkward for me. And yeah, so I was uncomfortable. And I think I can't remember if it was this move. I think I was considering bishop d6. But I don't think it works because of e5, f takes e5, d takes e5, bishop takes e5, queen e2, followed by f4. And yeah, it seemed needlessly risky. So I ended up playing bishop e7. And so this is a bit of a miserable square for the bishop. Stockfish 16.1 didn't really like it. It preferred d5 or g6. G6 is a very hard move to play there, though. Yeah, it was actually... Whoa, I hit the wrong button in my software. Let me try to undo that change. Sorry, give me a second. There we go. Yeah, so it actually preferred g6 and bishop g7. Yeah, but yeah, I'm not playing that if I'm not familiar with it. That's crazy. So, yeah, maybe d5 though. But he continued with knight f3, and I castled. So nothing magical about those two moves. He continued bishop d3, and I played d6. So while not terrible, this leads to a bit of a cramped position. Again, Stockfish 16.1 preferred d5, opening things up more, getting a bit more space, or g6 again, which again, very hard move to make. What else did my notes say here? No, never mind, not g6. I was reading the previous note, but it does prefer d5 instead of d6. But this is not the worst thing in the world. It's he played knight c3. So he didn't castle right away. Probably wants to wait and see what happens before he commits to his side. And I played bishop g4. Yeah, the computer said that this was another inaccuracy. I don't read anything beyond that. Yeah, I didn't really look into why this is not great, but I assume it's because of what actually proceeds. So h3 was played, and I played bishop h5. And so, yeah, the engine, the computer didn't like this either. By the way, let me know in the comments what you think when I keep saying the computer didn't like this, the computer didn't like that. Is that annoying? Would you rather just have leave the computer out most of the time and just have my own opinion? I'm not a very strong player. That's why I do use a lot of the engine's ideas. Sorry, I actually have tea today. I don't have tea too frequently. I switched over to coffee. I used to have tea a lot, and then I took, for like a year, I went back to coffee. Okay, anyways, I went bishop h5, and yeah, the computer didn't love bishop h5 because of white's follow-up here of g4. And this makes sense that my opponent would play this because he's very aggressive, right? He plays the Grand Prix. He's a very aggressive attacking player. So I played bishop g6, queen d2. Looks like he might castle queenside. I played rook e8. Just getting my rook a bit more activated. I can also go bishop f8 now, which is not a fun square to go to, but the bishop is kind of hindering my development overall. My opponent played knight h4, continuing to attack. Bishop h7. And he castles queenside. So yeah, if you look at this though for black, this is a pretty miserable position, and that's kind of what I felt. Yeah, I was not happy here. We have the bishop pair. That's all we have. And this bishop is buried behind my pawns. This bishop is buried behind my opponent's pawns. I haven't developed my knight. And white has more space and is ready to just plow through. So, yeah, I was not happy. I played c5, and I was happy when I found it. I mean, it's not like the hardest move to find. And once I saw it, I very quickly went for it. Actually, yeah, so it did take me 6 minutes to find c5. And I just felt like in this position, I had to take action into my own hands and not just sit around and idly wait to die, because that's what's going to happen here if I just make little moves. Like even knight d7, maybe knight d7 is okay, but like if I go knight d7 or c6 or even a6, threatening b5, like I think those are a bit too slow. c5 immediately starts to try to fight back. And yeah, I don't think my opponent liked it so much, because when I played it, I don't know, you can, as a chess player, a tournament chess player, you can kind of just pick up on your opponent's body language a bit, and even his facial expression. Oh, sorry, my jaw's feeling a bit stiff. I don't know why. Yeah, sorry, and he didn't seem too happy about c5. He wasn't like super worried, but he didn't love it. It's almost like he didn't expect it. Like, let's look at it from white's perspective. So if this is your position as white, you have plans to start attacking on the king side here, and then your opponent plays c5. Yeah, it can be a little bit annoying, right? And then my opponent made a mistake. He played d5, so a positional mistake. Yeah, this creates a lot of holes from what I understand, right? Because knight d7 gives us access to e5 now. There's a hole on d4. And f3 is potentially a hole. The knight protects it now, but this could be a bit weak. But especially the squares d4 and e5 are holes. I know that, yeah, white could also stop us from going to e5, but we can pivot there. At least there's potential for it. And again, there's a hole here. Plus, it doesn't really aid white's position, d5. Like, I don't see how that aids white's position. I forget what was better. I didn't really look what was better for white, but just not d5. Yeah. So I played knight d7, eyeing this square, plus just developing my knight. He played king b1. Yeah, I wasn't expecting king b1. I thought, like, I think the computer was fine with king b1, but I thought he was gonna play f4. Yeah, I thought he was gonna play f4, and I didn't. Yeah, I didn't have an immediate plan for it. Probably I was going to play a6 b5. That's probably what I was going to do. Yeah, so I'm surprised he didn't play f4. I'm curious. I'm going to put on the engine. Oh, it's kind of slow here. Yeah, computer is slow. Whoa. Okay, so f4 is actually, computer actually doesn't really like f4 that much. It's not in like the top 5 lines. Wow, my computer's going super slow here. In fact, it's kind of freezing. I got a lot of stuff going on. I have Stockfish running in a different position in the background. Then I have another version of Stockfish running in this position. I'm also streaming. Well, not streaming. I'm recording this video. I got a lot of windows open. Yeah, the computer says like f5 or a6 here. White is still better, but yeah, I guess apparently there's f5 here. f5 or a6. Okay, let me turn off the engine because that's just killing my computer. Wow, yeah. My computer's been starting to die lately. I might need a new one. Okay, anyways, I was expecting f4. Or something like him bringing in the rooks further. But he played king b1. Computer liked king b1 though. And I played a6 because what else is there to do really? I don't think I went knight e5 because well, I can't remember. I can't remember if I was worried about f4 and just not wanting to take his bishop. Yeah, I'm not sure if it was because of f4 or if I was thinking after knight e5, bishop e2, and then what am I really doing there? And then he plays f4. Yeah, it might have been something like that. I wasn't sure what I'm really doing with it. So I went with a6 because this seemed like kind of, yeah, kind of like a false attack. So I played a6. He played rook dg1, which the computer said was a mistake. Oh yeah, because it allows a tactic. This allows a tactic. So you can pause the video and see if you can find the tactic here. Because I did find the tactic in the game. Or don't even pause the video. Do it while I take a sip of tea. Okay. So I played b5. My opponent played f4. Yeah, I don't know if there were better moves, but I think f4 was okay. And I play c4. It needs to be c4 here. So attacking the bishop. Now the bishop is removed from defending the e4 pawn. And if you didn't see the tactic before, you probably see it now. So the bishop retreats. I play b4, attacking the knight, the other defender of e4. Knight has to move. And now the e4 pawn is under attack. Well, it was under attack before, but now it's undefended. So I'll just rewind a little bit. You know what? I might have even seen this when I played a6, honestly. I might have seen it here. And that might have been why I didn't play knight e5. Yeah. So a6. Yeah, I might have seen it here. So a6, rook d g1, b5, f4, c4, b4, knight moves, and I grab the pawn. Hard to talk with a stiff jaw. Then my opponent played a really nice move here. He was not happy with what just happened because he had a really good position, and suddenly he lost a pawn, and I'm starting to attack. And the move he makes here is actually Stockfish's top choice. What would you do if you're white here? And yeah, he thought for a while on this reply. Yeah, what would you do here? I'm assuming. I mean, the natural moves are bishop g2 or rook h2. But my opponent sacks the exchange here. He played bishop c4. Bishop takes c4. Yeah, which shows his experience. So he's already down a pawn, but now he gives up the exchange, and so I got hiccups here. He regains the pawn that he lost. He gives up the exchange, but he still has an attack kind of going here, and probably more importantly, by taking on c4, he really reduces or even eliminates my attack on the king side. And all he had to do was give up the exchange. So yeah, that was that was a good move from him. It shows a lot of maturity. And I did take the rook. He recaptures. And then I played a5. So a5 is actually a mistake, and I should have seen this, but I didn't. And why do you think this is a mistake? a5. I bet most of you can figure out why. It's also easier, of course, when I tell you it's a mistake, and right? But the reason this is a mistake is because it allows bishop b5. And then the bishop can go to c6, where it can't really get dislodged anytime soon, or even to bishop a4, where it just stays on this annoying diagonal, which pins my knight. If I want to get out of that pin, let me just put that on board, right? If I want to get out of this pin, I first have to move my rook Then I have to move my knight. Then I have to attack the bishop. Like, it's going to take a million moves just to deal with that. And again, there's also him just going to c6. And so, and it also blocks the A or the C files, depending on which way he goes, so that I can't really attack on these files. Yeah, so A5 was a mistake. And I should have seen that. I should have seen this right away, because this whole exactly A5 move followed by bishop B5, like specifically these pieces and squares, can happen in some Najdorf lines. So I should have recognized this. Yeah, there's Najdorf lines where this happens. You push the A pawn and the bishop goes to B5 and then to C6. And even flipping it, like, even because I play white against a Najdorf, often you get a knight here on C6, because the knight that is on C3 goes to A. Oh, wait, sorry, that's not right. Which knight is it? No, it's the knight on B3 goes to A5 and then to C6 and it gets to stay on that square. So let me get rid of those arrows. Yeah, so I should have seen that. I might have started to get a little bit complacent at this point because I just won the exchange in a pawn. Fortunately, my opponent didn't play bishop b5, and he played knight f5, which is a very natural move too. But bishop b5 would have been much better. And here I already, after I played a5, then I saw, after I played a5, I saw that bishop b5 was a problem. So in the game, I played rook b8, just stopping bishop b5. I knew that would be annoying. Unfortunately, rook b8 allows another, or it causes another problem, and see if you can figure it out. So you can pause the video so I don't have to pause for like 2 minutes in recording the video. Yeah, but this allows another problem, and it's the exact same idea, but it's a different piece. So now a different insect can land on c6, and so it's the knight. And there's nothing stopping this knight from going to d4 and then c6. I can't stop that. So it's kind of surprising I can't stop it, even knowing it like 2 moves ahead. So therefore, there's only one way to stop the knight going to c6, and that's queen b6. Although I'm trying to remember why. Because if he follows up with knight d4, I wonder if it's rook c8 and then we sack the exchange back. I'm curious. I'm going to put on the engine. Oh. Well, there's several moves. There's f5 apparently, which is not a simple move. But the top move is actually, let me turn off the engine because it's killing my computer. Yeah, my computer is dying. Okay, but yeah, bishop f8 is the best move. I have the engine off, but let me just see, what's the idea here? And then after knight c6, I gotta put it back on. I'm not good enough to figure this out, at least quickly. Then queen c5 or f5, rook, or yeah, there is rook c8. Queen c5. Come on, computer, work with me here. I guess then there's knight b6. It wants to play around the knight. There's also f5 here, like on the next move. But it looks like, yeah, knight b6. Okay, I'm going to turn it off again. But yeah, it looks like knight b6. So first of all, he has to deal with his bishop, right? So let's just say he goes, well, where does he go actually? I guess that's the problem too. Okay, well, let's say he goes bishop e2. No, because then I can actually take, because then I'm forking these two pieces. So, okay, well, yeah, I guess that's kind of awkward for him here. He's already in some trouble. Because I think if he goes bishop e2, I think I can take, I think I can sack the exchange and then take here, and I'm forking the rook and the knight. Yeah. Okay. So it was still not obvious why queen b6 was better. That's not obvious. But yeah, so I played rook b8. Yeah. So even if I had seen knight d4, I don't know if I would have played queen b6. I don't know what I would have done. Yeah, that's a very annoying square. Okay. Anyways, after rook b8, he plays h4. Scary. I played knight c5. Can't remember what I was thinking or planning. But I think part of it was that white doesn't have an immediate attack. Like, if he pushes g5, I think I can just take once even. So this is actually not super immediate. He only has one rook, don't forget. And so, yeah, I think I had some time to maneuver, and my knight wasn't doing anything on d7. I do have knight e4 ideas, and I do have attacking ideas. So knight c5 made sense. He plays queen g2. And this is a subtle but pretty venomous move. And I spent 11 minutes on my reply. Yeah, the more I looked at this position, the more nervous I got. Because the obvious move here, maybe it's not obvious, but I didn't like what I saw after bishop f8. Because, by the way, g5 is a threat here. The queen now supports this. So, yeah, for example, if it's white's move, well, it's not white's move, but if it was white's move, I think g5 is a threat. If I ignore it, well, he can just take on h6 at least. And so, yeah, if I take, I don't want to think now, but I think, like, if I take, he can take with the h pawn, right? And then he's going to have the h file to work with. So, yeah, this was actually dangerous. And I didn't like bishop f8, x-raying the h6 square, defending g7, opening up my rook, because I was scared of bishop f8. I'll put it on the board, but I was scared of bishop f8, g5. Even though, yeah, but the engine ended up saying that black was actually fine here. But the positions that the computer said were fine don't look fine. Like, they're not easy to assess. For example, it's my turn here. So I don't know what I would play. So g6, let's say. Yeah, I think this is what the computer recommended. But yeah, that certainly felt uncomfortable. Like h5 might be a move. Yeah, this felt very uncomfortable and unclear. So I found a different way to defend, which the computer liked. But bishop f8 is technically fine. I played queen d7. Once I saw it, I played it pretty quickly. It's kind of a cute move. Just ignoring g5 completely, because we essentially pin the knight, right? Because now g5 isn't playable because I can just take his knight. And I get the queen out the back rank. So, I don't know. I like the move. Oh. Okay. So my pawn played knight to e3, just threatening to clone the knight if he does play g5. Now I can't take the knight anymore. and then I played king h7. So king h7 is actually a blunder, because, and is this let me see my notes. Is this the yeah, so king h7 is a blunder, and I didn't play it right away either, but now that he had recloned, or is attempting to reclone the knight on f5, g5 is again a threat. And I didn't like bishop f8 for the same reasons as before, because nothing has really changed with my queen on d7. So I played king h7, but this is a blunder because it allows, it still allows g5, which I won't show now because you'll see it on the next move. Well, I guess I will show it now. But what was necessary here was bishop f8. Oh, sorry, here. Bishop f8. So, and by necessary, I mean necessary. It's the only move that doesn't lose, I believe, if my notes are correct. Yeah, it was bishop f8, and then after g5, then we can either play h5 or g6, and we temporarily give up a pawn. Yeah, so it's basically what I showed before, same idea. So after g6 and gh, then we go king h7. Yeah. But I played king h7, and my opponent played g5, the best move. And then I played king f8, but there's a difference here with my king on. Yeah, there's a difference here than had I done it before. So again, I should have done it here. I should have played bishop. I think this is the only non-losing move is bishop f8. But now that my king is on h7, I think the reason is because I basically spend an extra move there playing king h7. So after bishop f8, my second blunder, yeah, this actually loses the game. Now my opponent didn't, and hopefully these pauses aren't too annoying. I'm looking at the score sheet over here. So now my opponent didn't find the move, but I think he most certainly had the idea in his mind for two reasons. First of all, what he ends up playing is very, very close to the winning idea, but he didn't play it. Secondly, after the game, he said like, I should have played rook g1. So I think he was so close to the idea. He was so close to the idea. But this is kind of complicated. I don't know. I think it's kind of complicated. Anyways, after bishop f8, yeah. So sorry. The problem with bishop f8 is that this allowed g takes f6. Okay, it doesn't look like a problem, but this wins on the spot because after g takes f6, and then I play g6, right? h5 is the secret sauce. h5, and when g takes f5 loses to rook g1. And amazingly, there's nothing I can do here. Right? He's like... He's going to mate me on g8. And if I play bishop e7, then he mates me on g7. So I'm just dead. That's what I missed. So I just missed, I saw rook g1, but I didn't see h5. I didn't see h5. Yeah, I didn't see, I don't know. It's so easy to miss that, I think. In the game, though, he went g takes h6. And you would think this also works. Like, what's the difference, right? And again, he was so close. Like he had the idea, but oops, this is the wrong way. Because I did play G6 in the game. And he did play H5. You know, he was so close. He smelled the idea. But since he took on H6 instead of F6, there's a key difference here. I took on F5. He played Rook G1. Again, he had the right idea. And then he resigned here. Very soon after playing Rook G1, he resigned because he realized that I actually have bishop takes F6 now. And now I control G7. And also my rooks control G8. And there's nothing here for him. He's just down. Well, he's down the exchange from before. And now he's just down a rook. And yeah, he resigned there. And so, yeah, I won the game. So the difference here in this key moment, so this loses, but if he had taken on F6 and then followed through with that same idea, G6, H5 takes, the difference is by not taking my pawn on H6, I can't go to that square with my bishop because my pawn is on there. It's a small but extremely important detail. So I got very lucky. I know I got lucky. Yeah. That was kind of an interesting game. It was not a long game. It was only 28 moves. But yeah, it was kind of interesting how, well, first of all, so I forgot theory on move 2. I had a miserable position out of the opening, totally cramped. I play C5 to start attacking, opening up the position. Had a nice little tactic with A6, B5, like C5, C4, B4. Win a pawn, go up the exchange, and then he starts to attack. That Queen G2 move of his was very venomous, as I say. It doesn't look like much, but it's very dangerous. I defended incorrectly. It was pretty confusing. And then he found a nice way to attack, but unfortunately he took the wrong way. He captured on H6 instead of F6. And I ended up winning. Yeah, so that was round 4. After this round, I was 3 out of 4. So despite my poor first round, I was actually doing pretty well. I had 2 more rounds to go. So I was thinking, okay, these rounds are going to be tough, but if I win both of them, I'm guaranteed to win a trophy and prize money. If I win one of them, there's a chance that I might get 3rd place, or like at least like tie for 3rd place. Yeah, so I was feeling really, really good. Yeah, 3 out of 4 despite a poor first round. That's going to be it for this round. Stay tuned for round 5. I might post I don't know if I'll do it before this video or after this video. Like I don't know, a video of me eating. I like to do that as part of my tournament things. And maybe somewhat like a video of the view from my hotel room, something weird like that. Yeah, otherwise, round 5 will be up soon enough. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. See you next time.